Hello, my name is Ryan Hines, and before I begin my presentation, I would like to start off with a statistic from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. According to the NHTSA, in 2016, if your car was built before the year 1984, you were 55% likely to have a fatality if you were involved in a car crash, compared to 26% if your car was built after the year 2013. While new cars are clearly safer, that doesn't mean they're without their drawbacks. According to Ryan from USA Today in 2018, as cars become more loaded with technology, hackers are now able to take control of various aspects of your car, including door locks, brakes, engine, and even some semi-autonomous driving features such as those found in Teslas. Research suggests that vehicle safety requires constant improvement due to the risk of fatalities in car wrecks and the potential of hackers to take control of your car. The two main points are technology is reducing the risk of fatalities in a car crash, and the risk of someone taking control of your car is increasing as technology becomes more prevalent in cars. Technology is reducing the risk of fatalities in car crashes. Early vehicle designs did not have safety features such as seatbelts, airbags, lane departure warnings, backup sensors, etc. The introduction of all of these have become common and in some cases law for all new vehicles. According to the NHTSA website, in 1970, the NHTSA was established by the Highway Safety Act in order to improve vehicle safety. Throughout the history of the NHTSA, they have introduced and improved various crash test ratings, such as side impact, rollover, and front impact, a consumer-friendly way to rate each vehicle with their 5-star crash test rating, and have come up with a list of recommended technologies they suggest adding to new vehicles. The next big change we are seeing in cars is the introduction of semi-autonomous driving. The Society of Automotive Engineers, better known as SAE, has established 6 levels of driving automation ranging from level 0, where there is 0 input from the driver, to level 5, where the car is able to drive completely autonomously all by itself. The graph right here breaks down each of the levels of autonomous driving from level 0 to level 5. This is found on the Department of Transportation's website in the document Preparing for the Future of Transportation Automated Vehicle 3.0. The implementation of technology in cars increases the risk of hackers exploiting vulnerabilities. This is the second thing that we will be discussing. In the 1970s, we saw early designs of the ECU, or Engine Control Unit. This was one of the first steps in introducing computers into cars to control various tasks that the car needs to do, such as electronic fuel injection. The ECU had a set of parameters that were set by the manufacturer in order to meet government regulations in order to produce less CO2 emissions. Oftentimes, this would mean that the engine was not performing at its full potential. In order to meet these strict EPA standards, cars maybe had to run at 80% of their full potential. Early hackers would connect computers to the ECU and essentially recode them to produce more power. Usually this is very common in the automotive enthusiast culture. A lot of newer turbocharged cars, you can see a 20 to 30% increase in power just from simply plugging in the laptop, resetting or changing some of the parameters of the ECU. And that's essentially all you need to do. The drawback of this is it does make some cars less reliable. In 2012, Tesla introduced its over-the-air software updates, allowing owners to update their car's software via Wi-Fi or the car's internet connection. This was written by hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correct, Just de Vries, on the Tesla website in 2012. With the introduction of Wi-Fi in vehicles, hackers can now exploit vulnerabilities that are becoming more prevalent as we shift towards autonomous vehicles. In order for cars to run autonomously, they need to be able to work wirelessly to communicate with other vehicles and stuff like that. Another name I'm going to do my best to pronounce, Yoshiyasu Takefuji, states that GPS, millimeter wave radar, LiDAR sensors, ultrasonic sensors, and camera sensors are used in autonomous vehicles. That's a lot of different sensors, and there's a lot of risk for someone to be able to take advantage of taking control of one of those sensors. And out of all of those, LiDAR is the only one that we can protect against by combining multiple wavelengths to make it more difficult. This was stated by Takefuji in 2018. So in conclusion, research suggests that vehicle safety requires constant improvement due to the risk of fatalities in car wrecks and the potential for hackers to take control of your vehicle. Summary of the main points that we talked about is technology is reducing the risk of fatalities in a car crash, and the risk of someone taking control of your car is increasing as technology becomes more prevalent in cars. Closing comments, while cars become safer, other vulnerabilities have presented risk that can lead to car wrecks. It is very important that car manufacturers put just as much research and development into the protection of the security of the electronics of the vehicle as they do for the actual construction of the vehicle. Most companies, third-party companies, are making strides to improve security within cars by bringing attention to automotive manufacturers the potential ways their cars can be exploited.